Hey, hello, I have a fact for you. If a build can do all map modes, it is a good build, yeah? So how did I make my build into a good build, and how can you do that as well? You watch the video, I tell how. Deal? Shake on it, spit on it. No?
Like and subscribe.
Alrighty, so the list is basically this. These are the mods that are annoying slash build disabling. So first things first, we need 2 life tap supports. One goes into the main links of shield charge, faster attacks, momentum, and life tap instead of inspiration or rage support. But then the other one goes into elemental weakness and frostblink links. And this replaces Arcane Surge support, which was generating Arcane Surge buff to get 35% more spell damage for the shield. But since we don't have that anymore, we need the ring implicit, Arcane Surge on hit with spells. Now for the next thing, we have no leech. How do we counter that? That's countered by our substantially sized regen plus on kill. So what do I mean by on kill? Well, since we don't need mana unreserved because we don't really spend mana for anything anymore, we can unspec these points. And that saves 2 points. And 1 point goes into this node right here. Gain 15 life per enemy killed and some damage recoup. Melee for the life on kill, but the recoup is great as well. Then the next thing, less recovery. That is countered by instant leech plus on kill. So again, the on kill from this node. But then how do you get the instant leech? Well, we have the instant leech mastery right here, but that requires 3 points. What I usually was doing, I was just dropping these damage nodes, but there are 2 options. You can either drop these damage nodes, which is over 10% of your damage, or drop like no damage technically, but you lose chance to freeze consistency and you lose some freeze duration. But like, would you rather just kill enemies or freeze them? You know what I mean? This also scales explosions and everything, so it's pretty good. I would honestly probably keep that on second thought, and then you just spec those 3 points into leech is instant. The next thing is reflect. Well, obviously, physical reflect we deal with by converting physical to cold, gloves plus the mastery, and then elemental damage reflect is solved by just specking into Bastion of Elements. You lose the AoE, you lose the damage. Yeah, it's a nerf to the build, but you can do all map mods, so. And then another mod, I tested this just quite recently. The 50% attack block modifier, you would think it would cut my damage in half because I have to hit with an attack and then trigger the explosion. But I don't need to do damage with the hit. And apparently when you block a hit, it still hits, but it doesn't do anything. But in my case, it does trigger the on block because it counts as blocking when I hit. So yeah, this mod does nothing. Like, you don't have to worry about it. And then reduced action speed, that's probably the most annoying mod. Although, no, Tentacle Fiends is the most annoying, but reduced action speed nerfs your damage by a lot because you can't, shield charge a ton and quickly. But what I do usually for those maps is just run. Like, actually just run. We have the Herald of the Hive pulsing, and it's like almost at max stacks all the time. It's just pulsing, chain explode, clear. If you find a tough rare, then yeah, you shield charge a bit more, kill the rare, go on. But that's about it. So obviously, if you don't get like the Omega Giga Headhunter modifier combinations, your single target will be drastically reduced. Oh, there is a solution, right? The Owl boot option. So what I was thinking about, I never actually got to it, but so my boots, what do they have? They have Petrified Blood in Arrogance and then Carrion Golem. I basically could just drop this. Like, yeah, I lose, let's say I drop 40% of my damage, yeah? But then I get back all the damage by not getting the reduced action speed. That's basically the idea, right? But how do you get that is, I'll just show real quick. You get the precursors released. Action speed cannot be modified to below base value if you have equipped boots with no socketed gems, right? So you just unequip that, you lose your petrified blood. You're no longer on low life, so you lose 30% more damage, but well, you don't get the reduced action speed. So I think that's a worthy trade-off to just feel better about those maps, if it really bothers you, right? But you would have to respec an ascendancy point, so either you lose even more damage or you just change the Bastion of Elements if the map doesn't have reflect. If the map has reflect and has the reduced action speed, then yeah, you would have to drop the Mastermind of Discord. But I don't bother with any of those things. I just just run. But it's an option, you know? So there it is. Now, the thing is, this mod, no damage for 3 seconds every 10 seconds. That is a very annoying mod, and it's like, especially in early progression of the build, this was the mod that was killing me the most. Because, you know, if you can't do damage, you can't freeze, you can't kill, it's just dead. However, someone in my chat told me about the Runegraft of the Warp. Debuffs on you expire 30% faster. So apparently that map modifier is a debuff on the character. So if we take a random mastery here and apply this Runegraft, now we only have like 2 seconds out of 10 seconds. And 2 seconds versus 3 seconds somehow feels so much better. Like, it doesn't feel like sometimes you'll notice that you're not doing damage, but it's never a long time. It's never enough time to get overwhelmed by monsters. So it's a really, really nice solution. Also makes your buffs last longer, which is like your flasks, headhunter buffs, and so on. And then the last mod, which there is no counter to this. It's just Tentacle Fiends XDD. It's literally just a pain champ mod. Usually I look at the map. If it's juicy enough, I'll run it. If it's not juicy enough, if it's like, you know, like just 100% more scarabs, I will reroll it, most likely. Unless I really don't want to be bothered rerolling it, then I'll do it, because like with risk scarabs, you still can get the Tentacle Fiends. But it's not that often, but you can get it. It's just, you know, it's an annoying mod. If you backtrack, those explosions can kill you. But I've done so many maps deathless, even with Tentacle Fiends, that just keep going. Just keep moving. Pick up, have a strict filter, pick up good stuff, and just keep moving. That's about it. That made the build all map mod viable. I've been farming tier 17s with risk scarabs, with Nemesis monster modifier stacking. It has been a blast. It's printing money. It's fun. It's quick. It's like dopamine tinks in every map. It's like it's really nice. Really nice. Good money, good gold, good XP, good fun. Fortress map. I can't recommend. Anyway, bye.